Hey everyone, welcome to our weekly team call. Thanks for joining me. um, but I know some of you will watch the recording, so I'm excited for you guys to be here. So we're just going to kind of roundtable and talk about our best practices for running our businesses as full-time workers, because all of us on our team work full-time right now, and many of us are super successful. So we want to share with each other what we're doing, how we make it work for us, and how we're not like completely changing our life for this, but allowing it to fit into our current lifestyle so that we can make it better, if that makes sense. So basically what I've done, I have had many different schedules with different jobs that I've had. And right now, it's been a little, I've told you guys this before, like trying to figure out what works best for me. I'm always changing it and always trying new things. So unfortunately, I can't work out before work anymore because that would be like 3 a.m. and that's insane. But I do plan out my day and I'm intentional about where I'm putting my time. So I do just wake up, get ready for work, and I go to work. But on my break, I'm checking in with our challenge group. I'm checking any notifications to see if any coaches or challengers have immediate questions for me. Any other messages I'm not responding to until I have a chance to sit down and really focus on all my messages. So that comes later on in the day. But just like a quick 5-minute break, I'm checking in, seeing if anybody needs me. And then on my lunch break, I will go and listen to a call, or if I need to post in our challenge group that day, I get it done then. I add to my network on my lunch break because it's something that's super quick. Get that out of the way. And then once I get home from work is when I do my personal development and my inviting and anything that takes a little bit longer. So I think the best way to run pockets is whatever feels comfortable for you. We say that it takes about an hour a day to build your business. That is completely up to you, and it depends on how productive you are with that, and it depends on how you schedule your days. So maybe you want to spend a half hour on the weekdays, and then you spend 2 to 3 hours on the weekends. That's completely up to you. You own this business, so it's totally your choice how you want to do it, but you have to be consistent with it. You have to set a plan for yourself and continue to do it every single day how you say you're going to. That's seriously the best way to find success in this, is just to keep being consistent over time. One thing, I don't fill out a tracker a lot anymore. I'm using my Excel sheet to track conversations, and I'm also just like used to knowing what I need to be doing. But if I find myself falling off track, if you're a new coach, I really recommend printing off a tracker, and Holly even suggested laminating it so that you can use like a dry erase marker on it and then track your conversations in Excel. We can go over this in more detail too. If you're like, I'm new, I don't know what I'm doing, it's totally fine. You're going to learn. But this is an example of the tracker that I use. So it's literally just a printout. You can go over it. You can fill it out for each day if you want, or just kind of use it as, a resource to what you need to be doing. So I have on here the personal things that you should be doing every day: Shakeology, your workout, personal development, and then some kind of learning video or growth. This is so huge for me. Like, I would say probably 50% of my time as I was starting out as a coach was learning. So I was in Rock the Business. I went through, now you have all the training into a 1-month group. I went through 4 months of this, and I did every single one when I started. It was different back then. But you have this awesome training all compiled into 1 month, and it's amazing. All the videos are amazing, but they're pretty short, so you could easily do one every single day. I think a lot of times we feel like this business takes more time than it does, but really, if we evaluate the time that we're using, we're probably wasting a lot of time and we don't realize it. If you pull up your phone and you have a notification, are you scrolling your newsfeed? And how long are you doing that? Do you jump on Pinterest, and how long are you looking at random shit on your Pinterest, right? So just be intentional with your time, and you're going to make time for this. So those 4 things are super, super important when you're growing yourself, and you literally always need that. As a new coach, as a 2-year coach, as a 5-year coach, you always need those things. So today I actually watched a video in our Diamond Leaders page from another coach that's like not even in our upline. We have access to all of these things, and she's dropping bombs left and right, and her daughter's freaking cute. But it's like new ideas when I've been running this business for 2.5 years and I'm learning something new today. And like that in itself amazes me, that you can have that continuous growth like at all times. Yeah, you get so much more done when you're not scrolling. It's insane. I still catch myself doing it sometimes. It's totally fine. It happens. But when you're intentional with your work time, make sure that's not what you're doing, because that's not working, right? That's just, you're just watching at that point, right? You're not working, you're not getting anywhere. The other things on here, so those are like my 4 personal things that you should be doing every single day, no matter what. These other things on here, I break them up into pockets, or you can set aside like an hour to get them all done at one time. It's up to you how your schedule is and what works best for you. So I add to my network over my lunch break or little spurts here and there. Sometimes I try to do it multiple times a day. Sorry if you can hear my dog barking. I'm home by myself, so he's super protective of me. And then I have a spot for new conversations. I don't write them in here anymore because I keep track of them on my Excel spreadsheet. This way, I'm not losing people. I'm not letting them fall through the cracks. Like, it's insane how many names I have on here in old binders. I have this entire binder is full of these papers with people's names on them. And I guarantee if I open one, there's a person that I've lost track of. So having this Excel sheet now is so freaking awesome, because you're never going to lose that person. So I just have this on here still as a reminder that I need to be doing it. And you could even like make a check mark, like, okay, I talked to 1 person, I talked to 2, I talked to 3, whatever works for you. I also have posting on your social media and your stories. You should be doing this anyway. A lot of you are very good at this. But a reminder, sometimes we get busy and forget. And then our invites, which are coming naturally now, I think, more than before, just because we are working off of our tracker. And once you start this conversation, you kind of get a natural feel from when to invite people. So I'm not a huge fan of cold inviting. It depends. You can do whatever you want, but I'm not a huge fan of it. I am like super introverted, and so I feel like a lot of the people that follow me probably are. So if I reach out to somebody, I'm like, hey, join my group, they're probably just going to ignore me. So I really do like to start that conversation first and really get to know them, and, you know, what problems do I have solutions for that can help them? And that's where your natural invite comes in. I also have on here adding value to the team page. So this is something that you could also do in a short pocket over your lunch break, or you know, right before you go to work or something like that. If you want to shout somebody out, make comments on any post in there, create your own post about anything at all. Just really try and add some value to our team page, to Happy and Fit, to the Coach Collaborative. Julianne does so much for us. So if we can give back a little bit, you know, even if it's just once a week, make that your goal to do something in one of those pages. And then checking your Coach Online office is something that you should be doing every single day. You never know if you have a new customer order, a new coach signing up. You could have inactive coaches that maybe you need to talk to. I check my Coach Online office multiple times a day. Probably like 4 times a day, maybe more. I get in there a lot. But there's a lot of things that you should be looking at. And this is also a place where you get to learn more about how your business works. You can explore a lot of different tools in the Coach Online office to understand the compensation plan, to understand how volume works, to see where your coaches are at, where they might be struggling. If you have a coach that isn't ordering her Shakeology anymore, you should probably reach out to her and ask her what's going on and see what's happening, why they're not using it. You might find out that they don't like their recipe and just need help in finding a different one, something like that. When you start hitting Success Club, you get automatic customer leads. So you're not going to know if these orders come in unless you're checking your Coach Online office, right? So definitely make that a goal to check that every single day. And then I have on here as well, like a positive affirmation or a quote or a personal development takeaway. So it's up to you if you want to like journal about it or use it in a post or write it on these. But, it's just another reminder of like, hey, you should be doing that at some point during your day, because we need that extra boost of positivity, that affirmation in our lives. We really do. And it makes a huge difference if we do that every single day. So this is my power hour in a nutshell. I do not sit down and do it at an hour at a time. I don't. I'm doing it randomly throughout the day, but I'm intentional about getting all of it done. My old schedule, I used to sit down and do it in an hour, but then I would also, at my lunch break, be responding to messages, and I'd be in my inbox. So anytime that you have extra time and you're like, what should I be doing? You should be in your inbox. If you don't have any messages to respond to, you're not sending enough. You should be able to open your social media and have a message to respond to. So anybody else? I know that was kind of a lot in a nutshell, but that's basically what I do. I find my time. Some days are different than others. Some days I have more time, some days I have no time, and you just make it work. The best thing I think that sorry, this is my last thing, and I'll let you guys talk. I think the very best thing about doing the paper trackers daily is knowing like, okay, yesterday I was super busy and I didn't have time to get everything done. So today I can look back at yesterday's and say, what did I not do yesterday? That's what I need to do first today and do more of it. So it's a good way to just kind of keep yourself accountable with what you're doing. All right. Who else? What do you guys have for your best practices?
I can give a little like layout of what my day looks like. So my mornings are like pretty much my me time. So I do my personal development right when I wake up. I usually check in with the group at that point. Depending on the like what day of the week it is, sometimes like I'll get my post scheduled for the week. Like if it's still early on, I'll get my post scheduled for the whole week and just knock that all out. And then sometimes reply to messages. It just depends on how I'm feeling. Because sometimes you don't somebody a message at like o'clock in the morning. So I'm like, okay, I'm gonna reconsider because that's what I was doing for a long time. And it was basketball season and I have time at night. And then I kind of reconsider like I'm sending people messages way too early in the morning. So kind of revamp that. Anyways, I do that. I do that after school now most of the time. But sometimes I apply to ones, especially somebody that I've had, like I've been in a conversation with them already. It's not like as weird to see a message from me at 5:30 in the morning, whatever it is. But and sometimes I do my workout. I prefer to do it in the morning. And then for sure when I'm getting ready for work, I listen to either a podcast or, usually that's it because I don't have time to read in the morning. But then once I go to school, I try really hard to just like shut everything and think about it. But then sure on my break, I'll try adding to my network, or it sounds really stupid, but even if you're like in the bathroom, a break or something, like phone, like you could add a lot of people and, you know, in 5 minutes bathroom to your net. Yeah, just being intentional about your time. And one thing that I've gotten so much is not social media. Like I college and like the nights and the morning just lay, scroll and scroll and scroll and scroll. It kind of makes me, and now this, I don't even see that on social media. When I get on, all I'm seeing, like, it just makes me, like, I don't even see the other stuff like that. So, but I guess my nightly routine is kind of, I get home from school, I do my work if I need to, do my when I get home before Caleb gets home and just knock that all out. So after working out and dinner, I can just spend my night for the most part. That's all I got.
Yeah, I love that. So basically, you're unplugging while you're at your full-time job, unless you have a break. And you're intentional about where you're putting your time. Yeah, that's huge.
It is.
Ariana, I know you've been struggling a little bit to find time to fit this in. So is there anything that you think you've maybe been trying to do or want to try to do? Sorry, I muted you.
So I've been just like kind of off my game ever since I finished my half marathon. And mostly that's because I don't have a specific program right now. I took all of last week off, like completely from working out, mostly because I couldn't move for like 3 days. And so I know just like not having that routine of working out really threw me off, but it's what I needed. And so this week I've been getting back into my workouts, but it's still not like a set program. I'm starting 80-day obsession on Monday, which I'm super excited and nervous for. And I know that just like having that set routine will get me back in the game. Like yesterday morning, I got up super early and I got my workout in, and like my entire day was a completely different day because of it. I find I'm like super tired after work because as a social worker, I spend my entire day pouring into other people. And so if I don't work out in the morning, like I haven't taken any time for me. So getting back into that routine. So what I usually do is I get up, have my pre-workout, either do some cleaning around the house, because when I get really stressed, I don't clean. And then I get really stressed that I haven't cleaned, and then I need to clean. It's a really bad cycle that I'm trying to break. But so I get up, have my pre-workout, and then work out if I can. I've kind of stepped away from reading for personal development and listening to podcasts instead. I can do that in my car, and I have about a 30-minute commute to work every day. And so I take that time. I kind of have like my set podcasts that I like to listen to on each day that like a new one comes out. And so listening to podcasts on my way to work. And then at work, it's kind of weird because like I don't have set break times because of my position and everything. And over my lunch, I'm still usually half working. And so during the day at work, I'm really struggling to find time to fit this in because there's nothing that's like set for me. And it looks bad if I'm on my phone a lot because I'm in such a public office. So really, there's no work being done during the day, except maybe over my lunchtime, just messaging people that I know I need to message that day. And then, yeah, I'm just really trying to figure out that whole night routine again between not working out and getting back to working out. But yeah, I'm trying to figure it out right now because I want to be diving into this more. Part of it for me was just not knowing where I want my life to be in a year and where I think it could be. And I've kind of figured some more of that out now. And so I have like that vision for why I want to work this. And keep going with this. Whereas like a couple months ago, I was considering like going back overseas for 3 months, in which case I wouldn't be able to coaching and all of that. And now that's kind of not the plan anymore. And so I have the vision again. And so it's worth it to find those pockets of time. So yeah, that's what I'm up to right now, and just figuring out when to fit it in and kind of not stressing over other things, knowing that it's not that I need to work coaching, but like the dishes also still need to get done. And so just like finding that balance. So yeah.
Yeah, I think that's a struggle that a lot of people have for sure. I totally leave the dishes a lot, and then it stresses me out by the weekend. So I feel you there. But yeah, I almost feel like for you, you do have to stay unplugged all day. So it might have to be a thing where it's like, okay, I'm going to train myself to wake up 15 minutes earlier this week. And with that 15 minutes, I am going to add to my network. And, or you do your entire power hour before work all day, do your workout when you get home, or vice versa. Yeah. So probably vice versa for you. So you have that energy from your workout. Yeah. But you have to stay disciplined with that, with coming home. And instead of just, watching TV or scrolling on your phone, you're sitting down. And so maybe what you could do is, do you have like a designated space where you can like sit at a table and work?
I do. And that's been something that I've been trying to work on right now. It's needing cleaned. But yeah, I have a desk space, and I like to keep that as like my coaching space, because then like when I'm on my couch, it's so much easier just to like relax or scroll or watch Netflix. Whereas like when I'm sitting at a desk or even at my like mini dining table, it's so much more like, it's like I'm studying in college. Like when I was in the library or at a table, it's so much easier to stay focused than when you're just like on your couch or trying to like study in bed. Like it just doesn't work. And so having that designated space, I think, will be huge.
Yeah, I think that's awesome. And I would definitely find a tracker that you really like. There's a ton out there, or create one of your own, just basically a daily to-do list. And what I would do is every morning I would just set it out at the table where you're going to see it when you get home. And that will be a reminder of like, okay, I'm going to get this done, and then I'll do whatever else I need to do. And you can add to that too, like, and maybe what you want to do is when you're doing your power hour, you set out your sheet for the next day, and anything you didn't get done, write that on there like a to-do list. So then when you walk home, come in from work the next day, you're like, okay, this is exactly what I need to do. I'm just going to get it done real quick, and then I can move on with everything else that I need to do.
It's really funny that you say, like, when I get done working for that day, make my to-do list for the next day, because that's literally exactly what I do at work at the nursing home. Like, my coworker said the other day that she's not a fan of, like, leaving for tomorrow what you can do today. And I'm just like, oh my God, I would, like, not sleep for 3 days if I did everything today that I didn't want to wait until tomorrow. And so, like, every day, like, I get done what needs to get done, but then I'm like, well, it didn't happen, and I'm not going to work for 10 to 12 hours a day to get it all done. And so I think that same thing can be totally applied to this then.
Yeah, I definitely agree, because as long as you're doing something to move the needle with your business, it's going to keep moving forward. So there's no way we're going to be able to do absolutely everything in an entire day. That'd be crazy. But yeah, to-do lists are huge, and setting reminders or using timers or something like that, whatever it is to keep you on track when you get home. Because I know like it can be hard when you get home from a full-time job to continue working. It can be really hard. So you got to find something, whether it's a song that will pump you up, maybe you mix up a little half scoop of Energize to keep you going, whatever it is for that reminder for you. Maybe you print off a picture of your vision board, and you have that right when you walk in the door, and you're like, yep, this is worth it. Rubiana, how have you been doing? You had your surgery today.
Yes, I did. My surgery was super short, actually. They took me back at like 3:30 and I was already like back into the room with Zach by 4:30. So, and they said everything was good. So I left. I think we were home probably like 5 o'clock-ish. So it went really good. For me, I think finding a schedule that works is what I'm really working on right now. So my workouts since I've been doing like upper body and abs are been a lot shorter than what I was used to, because most of them are like 30 minutes or less. So that wasn't super used to. So the time I was getting up, I have a lot more time. So for me, I've been really diving into like ultimate portion fix, because I think that's been huge for me. So I use that a lot for my personal development, and also get some reading in and following up with people. So I kind of use the mornings as my time. And if I don't get something done, I might, we kind of have like a no phone rule until Easton is like going to bed. So I try to stay off my phone as much as I can when both Zach and Easton are home, so that we have that family time together. So when Easton's going to bed, though, that's usually when I make like posts on Instagram or whatever. So and then I follow up sometimes like at night or in the morning. So that's kind of how it's working out. I know I don't get everything done that I should, but I'm still trying to find that balance with like being a mom, being having a full-time job, and being a full-time wife. So I'm getting it. Maybe just need to quit hitting snooze quite as much, which can be hard. But with shorter workouts, it's definitely been easier. But I want to get back to my longer workouts, because that's what I actually really enjoy. So I'm still kind of in that groove of finding things. But I think printing off the tracker for me was huge, because I can actually see what I'm not doing, which I need to get better at doing. So I think that's gonna be my next step, is what have I not been doing that I need to start doing, because I've been trying to post a lot more in my stories and stuff like that. So I think that was one thing that I was definitely missing, for sure.
Yeah, I love that. I'm definitely a huge, like, it's not really so much like perfection, but when you see what you're lacking, you're like, oh yeah, I can do better.
Yeah. And that was kind of me, because I was like, man, what have I not been doing? And I was like, oh man, I barely post in my story. So I'm trying to get better at that. So if you guys have any tips or suggestions of what I should post in my stories, I'm totally open to it. I guess sometimes I like have a good idea and then I like forget to do it. So I'm like, oh well, it's over with now. So
I think stories are something that you really just have to get comfortable with, and you can have some consistency. Like, obviously you probably want to like post your workouts every day, maybe your shake, a meal, but everything else can be super random. Like, your stories are just something that people want to watch and enjoy and like get to know you just as a person. So it can literally be anything and everything. So I'm sure you're doing fine. But one thing we can do, though, is make sure that we're continuously inviting through our stories, because even though people are just like tapping through it, they're still seeing that. It's like an exposure to like, oh, hey, she has something to offer. Like, there's plenty of people on Instagram that are just working out for themselves, but Rubiana has something to offer and I could do this with her. And that might just be in the back of their mind. So then next week when they're struggling, they're going to be like, dang, I need some help. Well, Rubiana is the first person that comes to my mind. So if we kind of just like weave that in here and there, I think that definitely makes a huge difference.
do you guys ever, like, I know that sometimes when I do polls, like people will like answer it. So you like message them and they're like, oh, I hit it by accident. And it's like, okay, does that ever happen to any of you guys? Like,
yes, that happens
I get it a lot.
That happens all the time. And I've actually heard another coach say that she does this on purpose. She will make like the poll section big and like where people tap so that they do it on purpose. Because even if they say like, oh, that was a mistake, blah, 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 you can be like, well, since we're talking, have you ever thought about doing what I do? Like, just, kind of make it a more comfortable situation, and just say like, well, why not you? Like, why not? You're obviously watching, Yeah. I don't really have too much else. I think just the more you learn, the more you're going to know like what works best for you and how you're going to build your own business, because everyone's looks very, very different. If you look at some of the other coaches on like Fit and Fearless, like Karen and Kristen, both have children, and they either get up really early and they work their business and then get their workout done, or after their kids go to bed, they're getting on at night. And I know sometimes they're doing both. So it's just depends on the way that you want to do it. But I think, like Ariana said, like the biggest thing is having your vision and knowing what you're working for, because not every day is going to be easy to sit down and work. But we got to do it. Does anyone have anything else? Ashley, do you have any questions for us? I know you're like super new and haven't been working the business much, but.
I don't think so. I mean, I've been like kind of watching you guys. Like, I think I've been following everybody pretty much, like Ariana, Holly, and Ravanna, and I've just been, I don't know, I'm just a really shy person. So I don't like to do stories. I'm like really not into showing my workouts because I struggle through them, and like I know that I'm not where I should be. Obviously, I'm trying to work out every day and like get better and like get stronger. So like I'm not at a comfortable position to like even like want to share my journey right now until I feel like I'm getting better and like more consistent with working out, I feel like.
I think that happens a lot. That happens to a lot of people. It's definitely, it makes it so, so real. Because can you imagine like how many people would watch you and be like, wow, if she's struggling and still doing it, I can do this too. Mm-hmm. It's like so empowering to see that you are a real person, that it is hard, that it's not just a walk in the park. And, you know, like I feel like so many people on social media are just trying to paint this perfect picture, and we know that life is never like that. And so
yeah. I would agree with that, because I have followed like a couple of people like on Instagram, you know, like that do Beachbody, and like I'm looking at them and I'm like, I am nowhere, like not even close to like where these people are. And it's like, oh, I feel like I'm failing.
But you're not. You're at the beginning of your journey. And I think that so many people see us 2, 3, 4, 10 years in, and they're like, man, I could never do that. But you can. You just have to start from where you're at. And you have to love where you're at the whole entire time to be able to get better. So I'm just super proud of you for being on, because that's freaking awesome. I know that like being introverted and being shy, it's really hard to even get on calls like this. So I'm just really proud of you for being here.
Well, it also took me like 3 or 4 months to figure out how Zoom worked. So I'm not ashamed by that at all.
Oh, that's funny.
I think with like the shyness and like knowing that you aren't where you want to be, but you know that you're going where you want to be. Like I just think about like where I was when I started all of this, like how much it would have meant like to be watching someone who was also in my place. Like think about the people out there that are also where you're at and what you can do for them. And just focusing on that rather than like that you're not where you're at, where you want to be at. I think a lot of us in any area of life, we're not where we want to be, but there's so many other people out there who aren't where they want to be, and they're not doing anything about it, and we're doing something about it. So just know that there's someone out there who can benefit from you working through your struggles.
Yes, I know. It's just, I don't know. I'm just such a shy person. I mean, this is to like be on a video camera with like 4 people that I've never met in person before is like a big deal to me. So this is like even like going out of my comfort zone.
Oh yeah, it can be scary for sure. Yep, baby steps. Yeah. But how much better are you going to feel afterwards from taking this small step and doing that? Like, you're connecting with other women who aren't complaining about life, who aren't just staying stuck where they're at, who are trying to get better.
Yeah, I think that is nice. I mean, to see, like, especially like in our group, I feel like we do have quite a few new people. I feel like I kind of came with like a whole wave of like new people. And so it's been kind of nice to see, especially like on our team page. I do sometimes like jump in and like try to interact sometimes, but I'm also like super busy at work. So I try to do it on like, you know, like on breaks or something. But it's kind of nice to see other people's like struggles in the chats, or like when people make comments on the Facebook page. It's nice to see like, hey, I tried this recipe, I didn't like it. Does anybody else have any other recommendations or like food recommendations? Because like I know I've told you, Amanda, like I struggle with nutrition, and then obviously I think we all probably struggle where like days we just don't feel like working out, and it's like really, really hard just to like do it because you had a stressful day, or like work was really long and it just didn't feel like, you know, coming home, you want to lay down and you don't want to do anything. And I've definitely been there. Like, it's just really hard, and it's nice to see other people like kind of in the same position, but I'm just so shy that I like don't really want to share exactly where I am quite yet, but it's still nice to interact with people in the same position.
Yeah, so that just honestly is totally okay to be at that part of your journey right now. So we're going to want to push you outside of that comfort zone naturally, because we know how much potential you have and we love that you're here. But that is just where you're at in your journey right now, and there's nothing wrong with that. Like, there is no shame in that at all, because you might need to focus your whole power hour time on just like, where can I learn more about myself and about my body and about nutrition? And the more that you get better at that, and the more that you learn, the more confident you're going to be, and the more you're going to want to share with others. So it's definitely a different process for everyone. And you'll see too, like in our Fit Club, not everyone is a coach. So the fact that you're on our team and you're jumping on this, like, is so freaking awesome. So I would never feel like ashamed for being where you're at. That's totally okay if you're not inviting to this right now. So I want you to know that.
It's still nice to see though too that the door is always open, and it's nice to like get an idea for what like Holly's doing, or like Ariana's doing, or like Ruban is doing, because yeah, there is a ton of opportunity, and it's just nice to see what other people, you know, bring to the table. Because if I do ever feel comfortable, you know, I have people or outlets or people I can learn from or like ask questions. So who knows?
Yeah, I love that. And you never know, like, who's going to ask you what you're doing. Like, last night I literally, I went down to Logan's parents' house, and I spent like almost 2 hours with his mom talking about Shakeology and her nutrition. And like, she's at a point where she really wants to change her lifestyle. And so she's been working with a dietitian, and she's a nurse. And she has been talking to a lot of people about it, and actually like 3 different doctors. And so I'm down there like having this full blown conversation about how passionate I am about Shakeology. And like, it's just like coming out of my mouth, like, you got to do this and it does this. And like, it's so natural because I've experienced what it can do. And you never know when that opportunity is going to come along.
Right. We'll just leave the door open. I'm not closing it, but it's like, you can see me like peeking through the doorway, like secretly.
Totally what I did. Completely.
I think we all did. I paid full price for my Shakeology for 3 months before I was like, okay, I guess I'll take the discount. Like, So it's funny. I think we all start like that. I think all of us are somewhat introverted, and so something like this can be very, very hard.
Mm-hmm. I remember when it was last summer, my internet summer, and I started sharing like got my energized, like, or whatever, you know, and it's just like the smallest things, you know, and I didn't tape for, I don't know, probably a couple months into coaching, and then finally, I don't even know what made me do it, but it's just like, just start somewhere. Doesn't matter what you start with, just start with something small. People are gonna see it. People are gonna notice.
I remember when Holly made her very first story on her Instagram when she was talking, and she was like, "Oh my gosh, do I sound stupid?" Like, I remember that because she was so nervous. But yeah, you have to start somewhere and get comfortable with it. But okay, I'm gonna hit end record.